Have you ever made a mistake so embarrassingly bad that it practically became a legend? I'm talking about everyday things, like accidentally dropping a brand new phone into a lake, or sending a highly critical text message straight to the exact person you were complaining about. Now I want you to take that sinking feeling of guilty panic and sheer horror in your stomach and multiply it by 100,000. Imagine for just a moment that you are the emperor of one of the most powerful empires in the world. You have spent months relentlessly assembling a massive, terrifying military force. You equip them with the finest weapons of the era. You march them out to the battlefield to face your absolute worst enemy. And then, before the enemy even shows up, your army completely, comprehensively, and spectacularly destroys itself. All over a few barrels of cheap liquor. Welcome to VectorVanguard. If you are new here, this is our very first video in a brand new format. My goal in creating this channel is simple. History should not, and must not, be a boring list of dates and names trapped inside a dusty textbook. History is deeply human. It contains brutal tragedies, and sometimes it is unbelievably absurd. Every single day I want to bring you these incredible historical stories, breaking down complex events so you can easily understand them from top to bottom in just about 10 minutes. So brew yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, and travel back in time with me to witness the most chaotic, friendly fire incident in human history. The Battle of Karánsebes. To understand how a highly trained professional military force could accidentally wipe itself off the map, we need to rewind to the year 1788. We are standing at the tail end of the 18th century, right on the eve of the French Revolution and the bloody Napoleonic era. This was a time of massively scaled armies, spectacularly ornate, but wildly impractical uniforms, and battlefield communication that was, to put it mildly, a complete disaster. The conflict at hand is the Austro-Turkish War. On one side, we have the mighty Austrian Empire, commanded in person by Emperor Joseph II. On the opposing side, the feared and formidable Ottoman Empire. The Austrians had gathered an unstoppable juggernaut of a force, roughly 100,000 soldiers. Heavily armed with muskets and artillery supposedly rigorously trained, they were entirely ready to secure a glorious victory. However, there was one glaring, fatal flaw staring into the Austrian army right in the face. It is the root cause of the catastrophe we are about to witness. This entire army was an absolute linguistic nightmare. You see, the Austrian Empire at the time was incredibly vast, encompassing a multitude of different nations, cultures, and territories. Consequently, their army was essentially a walking Tower of Babel. The force included Austrians, Serbs, Croats, Hungarians, Romanians, Italians, and Slovaks. The vast majority of the infantrymen couldn't speak a single word of German, yet German was the mandatory language used by high-ranking officers to issue commands. Imagine for just a second this logistical nightmare. You're trying to coordinate 100,000 heavily armed men in the pitch black of night under life or death stress, while the soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder with you cannot even understand the words "watch out" or "retreat." It was a perfect recipe for a disaster, just waiting for a tiny spark to ignite it. By September 1788, this colossal, multilingual army was slogging its way near the town of Karánsebes, in present-day Romania. They were actively hunting down the Ottoman forces. The atmosphere within the ranks was incredibly grim. The soldiers were physically exhausted, terrified, and constantly on edge. They had marched for days through treacherous terrain. Furthermore, an outbreak of malaria and dysentery had already severely weakened the ranks. Coupled with the constant looming dread of a brutal Turkish ambush, their psychological endurance was stretched to its absolute limit. On the evening of September 17th, the Austrian vanguard, a unit of hussar cavalry, was sent ahead across the Timish River to scout for traces of the enemy. Hussars were the elite light cavalry of the time. They wore elaborately braided uniforms and were renowned everywhere for their boldness, bravery, and overwhelming arrogance. They rode across the bridge, sabers rattling, haughtily expecting to find the Ottoman vanguard waiting in the woods. Instead of the enemy, they found something infinitely better. They stumbled upon a group of nomadic Romani merchants who had set up a small camp in the forest. And these merchants were selling the exact thing that every war-weary, exhausted soldier desperately craves: alcohol. Specifically, they had several large wooden barrels filled with pure schnapps. Now, if you are a cavalryman in 1788, and you find a makeshift tavern right on the doorstep of a deadly battle, what do? You buy out the entire stock, of course. The hussars purchased every last barrel of schnapps, set up camp right there on the riverbank, and decided to throw a massive party. They figured they had more than earned it. They were the elite troops, after all. But this is exactly where the dominoes begin to fall. While the hussars were drunkenly swaying on the other side of the river, the rest of the massive Austrian army was slowly trudging up behind them. A group of Austrian infantrymen, regular foot soldiers, finally marched across the bridge. These infantrymen were in an absolutely miserable state. They were exhausted, covered in mud, and their feet were bleeding from the endless marching. As they crossed the river, they heard loud laughter, singing, and the unmistakable clinking of glasses. They followed the noise into the brush and discovered the hussars having the time of their lives. Naturally, the infantrymen approached and politely asked, "Hey, brothers, share some of that schnapps with us." But the hussars, fueled by the elitist pride of the cavalry and highly intoxicated, flatly refused. Historically, cavalrymen often looked down upon the muddy, marching infantry. They told the foot soldiers to get lost. They even went as far as dragging empty wooden barrels into a defensive circle to create a barricade, aggressively protecting their precious liquor. Things escalated rapidly. Insults and curses were hurled back and forth in the dead of night. Hot heads flared. Remember, these are incredibly stressed, exhausted men carrying lethal weapons. Suddenly, aggressive shoving turned into flying fists. The scuffle erupted into a violent brawl. And then, at the peak of the chaos, someone to this day, history does not know exactly who, fired a single musket shot that ripped through the dark night sky. Deadly chaos in the dark. That single gunshot was the spark that blew up the entire massive powder keg. When you're a shivering, terrified soldier standing deep in enemy territory and you hear a gunshot shatter the silence of the night, you don't think, "Oh, my friends must be fighting over a drink." Your brain instantly screams, "The enemy is here!" In the thick darkness and surging confusion, a few soldiers, likely the infantrymen who had just been brawling with the cavalry, panicked and screamed at the top of their lungs, "Turci! Turci!" Meaning, Turks! Turks! The drunken hussars heard the screaming and the gunfire, and absolute panic set in. They genuinely believed the Ottoman army had ambushed them from the forest. They frantically scrambled to their horses, leaped into the saddles, and began galloping wildly back toward the bridge to save their own lives. Meanwhile, the infantrymen, trying to peer through the pitch blackness, saw a massive wave of cavalry charging directly at them. They were absolutely convinced that these fleeing hussars were actually a charging Ottoman cavalry assault. Acting entirely on survival instinct, they raised their muskets and opened fire point blank into their own cavalry. Now let's step back and look at the horrifying scale of this tragedy. It is the middle of the night. A drunken fistfight has morphed into a deadly firefight. Thousands of soldiers are screaming, "Turks!" Horses are violently stampeding. And do you remember that massive language barrier we talked about earlier? This is the exact moment it claims their lives. The Austrian commanding officers, jolted awake by the deafening gunfire and desperately trying to stop the madness, began roaring orders in German. "Halt! Halt! Stop! Stop!" But the non-German speaking soldiers, the Serbs, Croats, and Romanians, had no idea what the word halt meant. To their terrified, adrenaline-filled ears, halt sounded exactly like the terrifying Ottoman war cry, "Allah, Allah." This was the point of no return. The soldiers were now 100% convinced their camp was under a violent Ottoman assault. Panic spread like a wildfire across the massive sleeping camp of 100,000 men. Soldiers leapt out of bed, grabbed their loaded muskets, and fired at any moving shadow. Entire regiments began unleashing organized volleys of lead into friendly regiments. The situation reached an unfathomable level of destruction when the artillery commander woke up. He looked out into the darkness and saw tens of thousands of men slaughtering each other, horses stampeding, and brilliant orange muzzle flashes erupting everywhere. Assuming the entire camp had fallen to the enemy, he ordered his heavy cannons to fire directly into the warring crowds. He was tearing his own men apart with devastating blasts of grape shot. The entire Austrian army, one of the greatest military forces on Earth, was now engaged in a brutal fight-to-the-death battle against itself. Even Emperor Joseph II was caught in the middle of the bloodbath. As he desperately rode through the Hula camp trying to restore order, the violent stampede of his own panicked troops knocked him right off his horse and straight into the freezing, muddy river. He barely survived, shivering in the mud, while his magnificent army tore itself to pieces in the dark. By the time the first light of dawn finally broke, the relentless gunfire slowly ceased. The sun rose to expose a scene of haunting, unimaginable devastation. But as the gunpowder smoke cleared, the soldiers looked around. There were no Turkish flags. There were no enemy corpses. There were only Austrians, Hungarians, Serbs, and Croats, standing in stunned silence as they realized the horrific truth of what they had just done. The army was entirely broken, not just physically decimated, but psychologically crushed. Emperor Joseph II, humiliated and defeated by his own men, ordered an immediate full-scale retreat. The massive Austrian force packed up whatever supplies remained, abandoned the dead, and marched away from Karánsebes in ultimate historical disgrace. 2 days later, the actual Ottoman army finally arrived at the town of Karánsebes. The Turkish commanding general must have been profoundly confused and astounded. He had prepared his men for the most brutal battle of their lives. Instead, he found a completely abandoned city. But the battlefield wasn't empty. The Ottomans walked into a scene of mass carnage. They recorded Austrian losses at roughly 10,000 men. While historical records still debate whether this massive number was entirely comprised of friendly fire casualties, or if it included those who deserted in the panic and died of disease beforehand, the humiliation of the Austrian Empire remains undeniable. The Ottoman army simply walked in and captured the city of Karánsebes without firing a single bullet. So why did this happen? How could a professional military force completely destroy itself? From a research perspective, it is incredibly easy to laugh it off and dismiss it as a colossal mistake made by drunks. But there's a much deeper truth hidden here. In fact, there is an academic twist we need to mention. Some modern historians suspect that the sheer scale of that night's disaster may have been exaggerated through word of mouth over the decades. The most detailed, comically tragic accounts of Karánsebes were actually published in the 1830s, about 40 years after the event, often by historians looking to satirize the bloated incompetence of the Austrian Empire. But whether this is 100% factual or slightly embellished, the event stands as the ultimate tragic lesson regarding the fog of war. It vividly demonstrates what happens when you combine extreme physical exhaustion, rampant disease, deep-seated internal prejudice, like elite cavalry despising infantry, and most importantly, a complete failure of communication. When a massive organization is held together by fear rather than mutual understanding, it only takes a single gunshot and a few barrels of cheap schnapps to tear the entire system apart. History is not only forged by flawless, tactical geniuses. Sometimes history is shaped by simple human error, extreme paranoia, and sheer absurdity. It reminds us that no matter how grand an empire is, or how advanced its technology, it is still entirely made up of flawed, exhausted, and sometimes very drunk human beings. That tragicomic story wraps up our very first journey together here on VectorVanguard. I truly hope you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most bizarre and catastrophic blunders. Now I have a question for you, and I want you to be completely honest. If you were Emperor Joseph II, crawling out of that freezing mud river on the morning after the battle, what would be the very first words you would say to your surviving generals? Let me know your most creative and hilarious answers in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this 10-minute trip into the past and want to uncover more hidden historical gems with me every single day, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We pour hundreds of hours of deep research into these scripts, and it is a true labor of love to bring these stories back to life for you. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the past with VectorVanguard.